There's Masters. Great chance here. That does it. Steve McGavin. And for the first time, Colchester United have won a major final.
Still Garcia, finally the company arrives and it's in! It's a freak-out goal from Ricardo Carvalho. Richard Garcia wants the credit and the shock is on at the bridge.
And it's promotion for Colchester United. They've made it into the Championship for the first time in 69 years.
Porter, being held, there is Porter, and that's Walker!
Welcome to this bonus feature of the Beyond the Barside podcast. I am Aaron J, and I am joined by Hughes fans Si, Jay, and Dave to have a little look at what we think the League Two landscape is going to look like next season. Have we done our research, fellas?
Yep, certainly have.
Look at Si with his notes. Si's made notes.
Me and Si have both made notes.
I can't read them. but I made them.
He's just been drawing things, haven't you, for about an hour instead of doing notes.
Just paints 1,000 words.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, me and Si made notes and we've been ridiculed for it as a result. So I don't know whether there is a meaning behind that, but any listeners, don't put research into things because you will get ridiculed as a result of it.
We'll see in 9 months.
We'll see in 9 months how correct we were. Yeah, so exactly, there's timestamp each question, I think, and then we can work out how wrong we were. So this is the League Two prediction, League Two landscape. There's a little bit of a bonus because by the time this comes out, we will have appeared on BBC Essex, which is a very good thing to happen after 3 episodes of a podcast, I feel, getting the BBC on board. But we will not be censored. Isn't that right, guys?
Hugely censored.
Hugely censored.
When I'm talking about defensive midfielders, I will not be silenced.
He says after heavily editing our conversation last week. So, first question from the League Two preview is who we think the league winner is going to be. I think I'm going to go with Si first. Si, who's going to win League Two this year?
Chesterfield.
Like it.
That's definitely. I just think, looking at what they've got, who they've got, how they've set up and everything, they just look so strong. I just think they're going to come out the blocks really fast and just set the pace. But unlike Walsall last year where they fell off losing their loan signings, I think Chesterfield have got the depth to be able to take it through the whole season, do well, and then I wouldn't be surprised they've got it wrapped up by early April.
Wow, that's a big claim, and obviously, I mean, Paul Cook must be a huge factor of that as well. Do you think?
Oh, definitely. To be fair, he's not gone down as my manager of the year, but I've got someone else to say. But what he's built as a team. His teams are known to do well. He knows what he wants. He's got a simple philosophy that the players buy into. So, yeah, I struggle to find anybody other than Chesterfield. So, apologies, Chesterfield fans, when you'll get relegated. It's my fault.
I like it. Jay, who did you go for?
I actually, and this might blow your minds, I've gone for MK Dons. But Chesterfield, it was MK Dons or Chesterfield for me. And I mean, Size hit the nail on the head with, I think Chesterfield, having watched a lot of teams last year, I know we got a draw at their place, but they looked so good. And it wasn't until they had 14 injuries that they really tailed off. I mean, it was like March time, April time, they had loads of injuries and they kind of tailed off into 10th and then they all came back and they made that run to the playoffs. And I was really surprised that they got done by Walsall, actually, given the state of how Walsall were looking. But they pulled off a bit of a masterclass against Chesterfield in the playoffs. But Chesterfield are going to be definitely up there. But for me, it's MK Dons with, obviously, they've got key signings from top clubs in League One and even taking a player from Derby in Mendes Lang, who I know he's 33, but he had a good season. And he's been a Championship and League One player most of his career, and he's featured in the Premier League. So, I mean, MK Dons, you've got Paul Warne, who's got Rotherham up from League One, and he's a League One specialist. So they've got the manager. They already had a hell of a squad last year, and it didn't didn't quite work. And yeah, you got your Aaron Collins and you Dan Crowleys and people like that. And it's just, they're backed. They've got a really good manager. It looks pretty settled there now. And I just think they're going to be Chesterfield and MK Dons for me are probably going to, like Si said, they're going to be probably way ahead of the pack because I don't really see anyone else with the squads that they've got and the depth and the managers really. I know there's a lot of good coaches, but I just think they've got everything you need to be a really, really successful League Two side this year.
I like it. Dave, who did you go for?
So not only has Jay stolen my general look, he's also said almost verbatim.
It's like a before and after, isn't it, you two?
Isn't it? we won't go into which way round. Yeah. Wow.
Separate a birth.
Does that count as shots fired, Aaron? No. Anyway,
I didn't say which way, so you can't.
Oh yeah, there you go. So even down to when we played Chesterfield away last season. Sometimes you just really enjoy watching another. I don't know how we got a point in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But they were fantastic. And I think they had a couple of players who left, and then, like as Jay said, a lot of injuries. So yeah, I think Chesterfield. I have gone for MK Dons just because the signings they've made to an already strong squad now, and I don't think they can mess that up again 2 years in a row. Whatever went on behind the scenes, so poor coaching, poor sort of backroom infrastructure. They had a strong squad. They shouldn't have finished where they did, and I think they kind of almost gave up the last sort of 8 to 10 games. So yeah, I just can't see past them again. I don't think they're going to get it wrong twice in a row.
Nice, I like it. I surprisingly, I've gone for MK Dons. I think the investment that they're putting into it has been fantastic, as you say, with Mendes Lang, Aaron Collins. They're two really big signings to take into League Two. Obviously, they've got an infrastructure already there to go up the leagues with a ground that is absolutely massive. I think the only sort of downfall for MK Dons this year and in recent years is they're sort of expected this success to be instant, and they've got a great manager in Paul Warne, and I hope he's afforded the time to, if they don't hit the ground running, to let this squad gel and get them up the league towards the back end of the season. But yeah, I've gone for MK Dons, unsurprisingly. But that does leave 3 promotion contenders as well. Si, who did you have as your 3 potential picks to go up automatically via the playoffs?
Automatically, I think MK are going to go. And there's a bit of a curveball, Grimsby.
Yeah.
I just think they're getting on. They're going very quietly behind the scenes, doing their stuff. Obviously, last season they had a very good season, just missed out like us. So I think I do them to go one best. They've kept their infrastructure, they've kept their team together quite well. They've got a very good manager in Dave Dartell, who maybe doesn't get the credit for what he gets for doing it with lesser squads. Obviously, MK, Grimsby, and then, well, I'd like to say us via the playoffs, but I'm not sure. I think it'll be Bristol Rovers. I just think there'll be one team that does sort of come down, doesn't really struggle, gets themselves back together and pushes on. I think Bristol Rovers will go up as well.
I like it. Yeah, I'm fairly similar to what I've gone for. Jay, what have you gone for?
I'm scared I'm going to say the same as Dave now, and he's going to kick me out the chat. But
I'm primed and ready.
I mean, Si mentioned Bristol Rovers, and I mean, you look at their squad, and like, what on earth happened there for them to come down? Because they're the one team that I think could bounce back in third potentially. Obviously, Chesterfield and MK Dons are probably going to lead the way. But also, are we doing dark horse, or shall I avoid that?
You can go for a dark horse. Go for it. Yeah.
Can I? I mean, it's probably not a dark horse, but either Bristol Rovers or I'm thinking Barnet, based on their recruitment, but also looking at how they, along with York last year, absolutely bulldozed the National League, and obviously they got 102 points, and it's 31 wins out of 46 or 44 games, sorry, whatever it was. And I just think for a team to smash through the National League, which is probably one of the hardest leagues to get out of, alongside a big spend in York, I think Barnet could be either like an automatic promotion or definitely in and around the playoffs. And it's them or Bristol Rovers for me, with some other teams that we might talk about later behind. But yeah.
I like it. Dave, who have you gone for?
Yeah, I agree with Bristol Rovers. It's pretty incredible that they got relegated at all with the squad they got, and they've recruited quite sensibly as well. We've mentioned Chesterfield. I think Notts County could go one of two ways.
Mm-hmm.
Where they've got what seems to be quite a strange football management structure in there. They've got a lot of hands, so it could work really well. Or they might be sort of this season's MK Dons, really, from last year, who just inexplicably finished so low down the table. Or throwing in a dark horse myself, Swindon, if they carry on the momentum that they took in the second half of last year. They could definitely surprise a few people.
Yeah, I like that we're going for dark horses as well. I've gone for Chesterfield. I think for all of the reasons that you guys have listed, I think they're going to be in and amongst it. I have, of course, gone for Colchester. I think we will nick a place in the playoffs and go all the way. And I've gone for a dark horse as well for my other automatic. I've gone for Cambridge. I think strong manager in Neil Harris. I think that they've signed a few half-decent players, particularly across the back line. I don't think they're going to concede many goals. And they've also signed Dominic Ball, which I think's a really, really good addition to a League Two side, considering the career he's had. So, I've gone for Chesterfield, Colchester and Cambridge.
Cambridge signed that Luton player, and Panzer, I think.
That's right, yeah.
And the guy that went up and down the 4 or 5, the 5 leagues with Luton. That's a surprising one. That's a bit for them, I think.
And they offered free printing on his name and number on all shirts until the end of the month. And there's a conspiracy amongst Cambridge fans that they're just trying to get rid of the Zs before the end of the season. Which
I don't. Sorry to butt in. England just won on penalties.
Yes, that's why my son came in there just to hug me. I'm double screening. He's on the TV.
That's what
nice.
I did. Yeah,
just seen the fact they've won it.
One on penalties. We're pretty much double screening across the board as well here.
Dave.
Great performance.
Yeah,
Sorry, say that again.
You hid your celebration well there. I didn't see a flicker in your complexion there.
You didn't see that 7-year-old jump on me.
Yeah. Nice to see.
Snuck in. So that's well done, Barneses.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, congratulations. That's the top of the table, done and dusted. I think we're more or less in agreement with MK Dons, Chesterfield, and Bristol Rovers being in and amongst it. Moving down to the bottom of the table, there's a few contenders for me. And it's nice that we may not be a part of this conversation this year. But, Si, who have you gone, the two to go down, who have you gone for?
This one I found really difficult because every year you get teams that, people are almost odds on they're going to go down, and out of nowhere another team gets dragged in, etc., etc. But this year I've gone for Harrogate and Accrington to go.
Oh, Dave's going to be gutted.
The shreds. Well, everyone in League Two should be gutted if Harrogate go down.
Oh yeah. If it was done on points per food base and stuff, they'd be pissed.
Champions League.
Oh yeah, easily. So I just think that Harrogate maybe have just been overachieving a little bit the last few seasons, and their recruitment this year hasn't been as well as they've done in previous seasons. And then Accrington, there seems to be a lot bubbling behind the scenes there with their own. Obviously, every now and again we'll have a few too many beers and decide who wants to put the club up for sale. Goes what else, and then also they're having arguments with the council about not being able to use their facilities for certain things, etc. So I just think it's going to be a perfect storm for Accrington almost. That it's just everything's going to go wrong at the wrong time for them, and we can see both them and Harrogate dropping out of the league, which will be frustrating because, as Dave alluded to, the food at Harrogate is absolutely lovely. And if anything, I just think we should just relegate one team this year if Harrogate are second from bottom, and we'll get a buy because the food's nice or something.
Yeah, food buy.
Yeah,
Feel like
exactly.
a-
It could be a thing, couldn't it?
I'd
feel
vote
like
for
a
it.
little playoff like they do up in Scotland, something like that, but really heavily weighted towards Harrogate. I think they're two very, very sensible choices. Jay, who have you gone for to go down?
Similar to Si, to be fair. Also, I'm not set on the relegation places at all. I think you could potentially look at Newport as well.
Mhm.
And I don't know why. I've got a sneaky feeling Crawley could be a bit of a mess, given the turnover of obviously their relegation, but the turnover of players as well. And I know Scott Lindsay's back there, but I think there's been a bit of a change with not the ownership as such, but the way they've structured how it's going to work now, and their chairman's taken a step back. But who knows? I kind of look at quite a lot of the clubs in the league, and much like Si said, I think if they go on a bit of a bad run, anyone could get dragged in. There's only really like the teams. There's only 7 or 8 teams which I think probably won't be anywhere near it, and then everyone else you could put them in a hat, shuffle them around, and where they come out. So yeah, I think those 4 that we mentioned possibly will be the most likely.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement there. Dave, who have you gone for? You any dark horses to go down?
Well, my main ones are, as the guys have said, so Harrogate, unfortunately, and Newport. I think both recruitment has been really underwhelming. But I think a dark horse, and we've seen a couple of double drops in the last couple of seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Shrewsbury could be a dark horse because they've got issues. They've got issues off the pitch. They're quite similar to us. Have you been to Shrewsbury's ground?
Yeah,
their stadium
it's
is
the
almost
same ground, isn't it?
I drove 300 miles and then I walked into our stadium.
Yeah. There's one up in Scotland which is the same. I think it's St Mirren have the same ground as us as well.
Yeah, so obviously the same architects.
Yeah, all bar grounds, I believe.
Yeah, but for them, and from what I can tell, is they're quite similar to us structurally as well, insofar as they don't have a consortium and they've got sort of a benefactor like we do with Cowling. But whereas they're trying to sell, but whereas Cowling is, he's trying to sell, but he will do what he needs to do for as long as he can till he gets the right offer. Their owner is said but they're struggling to actually finance the club now, which is why the sale is really needed for them. So I could see them dropping. Obviously, they signed Anthony Scully.
Yeah.
Now, for their fans, that might be. I think, like we discussed before, I think there's definitely a good player in there. Needs time, needs to be managed properly to get it out. But I think if they're bringing him in as seemingly as a bit of a main signing.
Yeah, he was sort of the marquee, wasn't he?
Marquee player, and I don't think that's a good sign for them because he's definitely. I would have liked us to have signed him, but he definitely would have been certainly to start with a fringe player.
Yeah.
So I think Shrewsbury could be an outside bet to do a double drop.
Yeah, I think some really good points raised there. I've firmly sort of gone for the status quo here. I've gone for Newport for the reasons already stated, and I've gone for Accrington as well. I think a lot of instability in terms of ownership. I mean, he wants to sell and then he doesn't want to sell and then he does want to sell again. Very public arguments on X with the local council, and seems to air the club's dirty laundry publicly. And I think at times Robbie's been criticised for perhaps not communicating as openly as people feel he should, although I disagree with that. I think you can communicate far too much as an owner, and you've got to worry what effect that has on the staff and the players and the supporters throughout the season. And you can just sort of see it. A few bad results, all of a sudden it becomes quite a toxic atmosphere to play under. So I think Accrington and Newport as well. A lot of good managers in League Two this year. Manager of the Year is a bit of a open road, really. Si, who do you think's gonna get the Manager of the Year award?
So I've gone for David does tell at Grimsby,
Mhm.
because I just feel that Grimsby are going to kick on again this season a little bit more, and he's probably working under a lot more constraints than, say, Paul Cook is, or what we've got MK Dons and things like that, who've got the budget, the squad, whereas Arteta's got a smaller squad, smaller budget at a, I know Grimsby fans will hate me saying this, but at a smaller club. So I think, if he gets them firing well, he's got to be a definite contender. But I think the problem with Manager of the Year is a bit like Player of the Year. Sometimes they go for sort of certain characteristics, and then other times I'll pick a random manager because they've won 10 games on the trot towards the end of the season and stuff. So I don't always think it's a level playing field necessarily for who's done the best in the season. It just seems to be sort of hit and miss at times. So yes, that's my one, Dave. I'll say at Grimsby.
I like Dave. I was sorry to jump in. I was quite keen. I think it was before the Etherington appointment when that was. I was quite keen. I think he was available then, and I was very keen. I was very keen on him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been linked to us a couple of times, hasn't he? It's never quite gone over the line. I'm pretty sure he was part of the shortlist when Bloomfield got the job as well. Jay, who are you going for?
I think, and again, so I mentioned it's usually a team which either goes on a run or they go for like the league winner or something like that. But I've got a sneaky feeling this year it might be an unfancied team who maybe jumps into the playoffs or has a run at automatics, like a Grimsby, like a Swindon, even us, to be fair. I think they'll potentially get manager of the season. So obviously you don't need to speak about the Cowleys. We can't speak high enough, but the work Ian Holloway has done at Swindon is, Dave alluded to it, he started off a bit of a joke, didn't it, when he was first appointed, and it was actually, hold on, he's transformed Swindon into a bit of a second half of the season machine. So I'm thinking it could kind of be an unfancied team that just punch above their weight. I wouldn't say Colchester, Swindon and Grimsby are unfancied in terms of maybe being in the top 10, pushing top 7, but certainly not pushing automatics, I wouldn't have thought. But I think it'd be one of those 3 potentially.
Yeah, I like it. Dave, who have you gone for?
I think if they maintain the momentum, I think Barnet will do very well. I'm not quite sure they'll be right up there for the automatic promotion as contenders, but I think they'll be there certainly around the playoffs. So I think they're made. I think Dean Brennan, I think his name is. So if what he's done and what he built last year, if he can continue that into this year, I think he'll be a lead. He'll be a leading contender.
Yeah, I've gone sort of the opposite of what you guys have gone for. I have gone for the criteria that if you win the league, therefore you are the best manager. So I've gone for Paul Warm on the basis that I think MK Dons are going to win the league. Therefore, he's the best manager.
I mean, Si alluded to it. Sometimes they just look at that, don't they? But if you can't re-odds it. That's sort of the thought process you've gone through there, Aaron. With your team wins the league, you should be the best manager. But with the funding they've got, the players they've got, on the infrastructure, if the Cowleys get us up, or I mentioned Barnet, if Harrogate end up in the playoffs, then I would suggest that that's more of a managerial feat.
Oh, definitely. I think so as well. I just think the way it goes with certain awards being dished out, it's very much a one-size-fits-all approach at times. But obviously, managers are only partly instrumental in getting teams up there and getting teams over the line. It's the players that do the job. So the EFL League 2 Player of the Year is very much an open playing field. Si, who are you going for?
Aaron Collins, MK Dons.
Yeah.
I think he's one of these players he's not just come down on loan from a higher team, so people are a bit unsure. He proved himself last year, played well at Bolton. He's probably a bit too good for this league. The fact they've signed him, he's done well. He offers the goals, assists, high work rate. I just think, look at his stats throughout the seasons, he's going to get better and better. And obviously, as MK, if they do push on like we were saying they're going to do, go on their good run, he's going to be instrumental in that and really pushing the team forward. So I'm going for him for my Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think that's a very sensible shout. I think that's for all the reasons you listed. Jay, who have you gone for?
Exactly the same.
Yeah,
for all of the reasons Si mentioned. Yeah, I mean, the only other one we mentioned earlier was Mendes Lang, just due to his quality. But I think Aaron Collins has been standout for Bristol Rovers, both in this division and one above, and obviously Bolton as well. So he's just absolutely proven, isn't he, at this level to be an absolute superstar. So yeah.
Go on, Dave. Who have you gone for, mate?
Bit of a theme, not the same player, same team. I've gone for Will Collar. Midfielder signed for MK Dons, but and again, it's another huge signing for them. 42 games last year in a very good Stockport team in League One. 8 goals and a few assists, I think, from midfield. I think they've already got a strong midfield as well, and they've got, obviously we know about. I've forgotten his name. Who's the guy who played for us?
Gilby.
Oh,
Gilby.
Yeah.
And they've got Gilby, and they've got Dan Crowley, who he's another one. If he picks up where he left, manages to re-pick himself up, I should say, from what he was doing in Notts County, he was clearly the best player in the league. But yeah, I think what the type of player he is and what he could bring to those new expensive players around him, I think he's going to be very influential.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I was going to go for Aaron Collins, but I am glad that I chucked a curveball in. I've gone for Will Davies of Fleetwood. I think Fleetwood, reason being, I think he scored fairly decent scoring record last season. Fleetwood have signed a couple of strikers themselves. I think there's going to be competition for places. I think each centre forward is going to keep pushing. So I just think he'll bag a few within a sort of mid-table Fleetwood side. Yeah, I've also gone for another curveball for our honourable mention. Not to shuffle the order too much, but I think Gillingham might be in with a shout of doing something half decent this year.
Yeah, don't disagree. I think they've got a good manager, I think, at this level, certainly. They've got investment behind them. They're doing, I think their fans expect them to be a bit further on, but their American owners seem to be trying to build rather than throw money at it and make it unsustainable at the start. So no, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they were playoffs this year.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go as an owner as well, gradually build up, don't expect too much straight away. And they've got a manager in Gareth Ainsworth that knows how to get teams up and through the league. So yeah, I think they're a little bit of a dark horse this season. Si, any honourable mentions for you?
So honourable mentions, I've kind of gone down a different route, really. I think it's just teams that are maybe worth talking about. And for me, it's Wimbledon and Walsall. I'm going to be very interested in them. Not necessarily where they're going to finish, but how they're going to bounce back from what their fans and they must see as a very disappointing end to the last season. Obviously, Walsall had the league won by December, then decided to just scrape the playoffs. So I think they're going to be having to mentally reset. And with Wimbledon losing the playoff final, where do they go from here? Because are they going to have the hangover from the final, or are they going to do it wrong way around?
So I do want to check your notes.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say Wimbledon went out, didn't they? So I'm completely the wrong way around there, mate. So that's exactly what I was going for. I was like, when I was looking through it, I was like, looking at the league, I was like, who do I think is going to come down? Well, Wimbledon. I was just mentioning my notes. Like, oh yeah, teams have been talking about, what playoffs and sort of knocking it through. But one thing I am pleased about is people do actually listen to what I'm saying. I just thought you muted me, cracked on. So you all passed that test.
Well, it's one.
Cut you off.
Yeah,
it's one in the eye for the note takers.
Yeah,
Vibes merchants are in.
That's what I just think it is. The playoff teams who struggle or have good seasons, how they get over their hangovers.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the big thing. And sort of losing the playoffs or having such a good run in the league and dropping down. Where do you kind of go from there? And both of them will be. Well, both of them will see. These teams we'll talk about will be interesting to watch. And when we do League One, women are going to kind of come down because they're going to struggle.
Yeah, I like that you've taken it that way as well. I think that's a good interpretation of the honourable mention. Jay, what have you gone for?
Very similar to Si, although I haven't been reading his notes, which is probably a good thing. I've gone for Walsall as well, and I think much like Si said, I was really I mean, Walsall were running the show, weren't they? And it was just like, what has happened to them? And I mean, everyone pinned it on Nathan Lowe, obviously leaving in the January transfer window to go back to Stoke. But like, Matt Sadler put together a really good side, and it can't have just been Nathan Lowe. So something must have happened because they just fell off a cliff, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And I know they obviously got past Chesterfield in the playoff final, which I don't think too many people were expecting given their form. But I mean, I really want to. I'm kind of really intrigued by Walsall because I think Matt Sadler's a good coach, and they seem to be adding some half decent players again. And I'd just be intrigued to see if they're just going to be another mid-table team like they have been before last year, or if they're actually going to be pushing playoffs again. And yeah, be just really interesting to see what the dynamics of that are.
Nice. I think considering where they were and what happened towards the tail end of the season, it would be really interesting to see how they react as a club. Dave, what have you gone for?
I won't speak any more about them because you guys have covered it well. But yeah, Walsall are fascinating what they do this season. But I think maybe we should give an honourable mention to our groundsman, our new star signing. What's his name? Brad, is it?
Brad Jeffries.
Brad Jeffrey. To get obviously the pitch now looks like I was emotional when I walked. I know we'll discuss the Peterborough friendly in more detail in the other pod, but yeah, I looked at that pitch and I got quite a feeling of just what have we come from? Where are we now? It was amazing, and to get that pitch almost playable at the end of last year as well.
Yeah,
from where it was in February. That's another incredible feat of agriculture engineering. So yeah, shout out to Brad Jeffries.
And it's not finished yet either.
No,
it's not even been stitched yet, has it? So should become even better to come.
Yeah, even better things to come from Colchester United and the pitch itself. That has been our bonus League Two preview. Thank you very much to any new viewers or listeners that are joining us from the BBC Essex interview. And if you are listening and you've enjoyed what you've heard and what you've watched, feel free to give us a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you haven't enjoyed it, don't leave a review because it really skews the curve and it's annoying. I've been
Are we too old to say smash that like button?
Smash that like button. I mean, we can.
Yeah, that's what I hear all the time. My kids have got their their YouTube one. I hear that a lot. So I don't.
I've been Aaron J. Huge thank you to Si, Jay, and Dave for joining me for this League Two preview, and we will see you soon. Thank you.